Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Christine Anderson. I am a chiropractor in Los Angeles, and I am also a Young Living member and distributor, and at the moment, aspiring silver. So I am so glad that you can make it for this inaugural program of Aroma Alchemy. Um, I am an alchemist. I love to mix things together and see what happens. And so um, that title just spoke to me. So I hope you enjoy what I have to say. And this is going to be a really basic introduction to essential oils. Who knows? Maybe even if you've been oiling a long time, you might learn something. So everyone is welcome here. Um, I do use exclusively Young Living oils, but this is going to apply to certain other oils as well. Um, Here is kind of my story, right? How did I get into essential oils as a chiropractor? I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible because I do want to dive into all of these other things. But I am interested in anything that is going to help me and my family and my patients live above the wellness line. And I was introduced to Young Living I think it was about 4 years ago or so. And at that time, I had been using other brands that I had been getting either through wholesale distributors, or maybe I might pick one up here and there from the health food store. And I had always been hearing and reading that they were good for therapeutic use, but I wasn't really experiencing that. And I would sometimes diffuse them, but sometimes I wouldn't really like the smell. And even some of them were giving me headache. And I was like, whoa, what is this? How can this be? The only time I usually get headaches is if I'm smelling perfume, but these are essential oils. It's saying pure on the label, it says organic. What the heck? What is going on? So I didn't really understand, first of all, everything about essential oils. And I certainly don't know everything now, but I do a lot more than I know, a lot more than I used to. Um, but I thought all essential oils were equal. I thought whatever was on the label was what there was on there, right? And I really didn't get that it's the Wild West when it comes to oils. There are no labeling laws. There's nobody really controlling what is going on. And unfortunately, that means you really don't know what you're getting unless you know the company that is putting the oil out. So I a chiropractor introduced me to Young Living at a conference, and then the kit came, and unfortunately sat there a little while, and I didn't really open it because I was busy because it took a while to come. And then finally I did, and I started using the oils, and I was like, oh wow, these smell so different. And then I got something called a Zytoscan, and it's a way that's uses galvanic skin response. It's similar to like a Fitbit that you put on and sort of measures what's going on in your body. And I scanned my husband, and two things came up from the starter kit: peppermint and thieves. So I'm like, here, put a drop under your tongue. These are actually vitality oils that the FDA says are GRAS. They're considered safe for ingestion, and they're actually have a label to correspond to that. So I put a drop of each under his tongue, and off he went for his hike. And he came back, and he's usually willing to try anything, but he's kind of a skeptic. He's not like easy to jump on things. And he came back from his hike, and he's like, "Whoa!" And I'm like, oh, okay, he's making fun of me and what I'm doing, but he was actually serious. He was like, my hike was easier. It was effortless. I could breathe better. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So he actually had a wow and aha moment before I did. And I started using them with my patients, and they started having their moments. And I was certainly enjoying using them, and they were supporting my system. Like a lot of things I do, which I don't necessarily feel like crazy effects because I didn't really have anything major going on, except I was a little bit fatigued. And I did a Zytoscan on myself, and I used one of the supplements called Cortistop, which helps with adrenal support. And you know what? I can't even remember the oil I use right now. Maybe it was something like Brain Power. Oh, yeah, I think it was. And I used the oil and I was using Cortistop, and I just felt like someone flipped a switch and my energy just like went up 1,000%, like it used to be, like it normally was. And I was like, whoa, this stuff is powerful. So since then, I've had a couple of other moments, and I certainly notice shifts in energy when I use them. Subtle shifts somewhat, but sometimes it's bigger. And I've been using them for hormonal balance. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can use to support your systems because of these nature of the plants. So, what are essential oils? They're actually the most powerful part of the plant. They're distilled from shrubs and flowers and trees and roots and bushes and fruits and rinds and resins and herbs. And they consist of hundreds of different natural organic compounds. And in humans, they provide support for every system in the body: skeletal system, muscular system, circulatory, endocrine, hormones, respiratory, immune, you name it, they support it. They support brain health and a healthy weight. They are used extensively for spiritual support as well as emotional support. They've been used for thousands of years as beauty aids. An oil in a diffuser can soothe a child's tough day at school and provide a calming effect when you've had a stressful day at work. And I certainly know that is that's true for me. And also in my car, there is a blend called Stress Away that lives there. Oils can be used as an alternative to cleaning chemicals in the home. And right now, that is a big deal with what's going on. You can literally start swapping out every single chemical in your home to live a pure lifestyle, and you can do it without breaking the bank. And that's what's really most important because um, Young Living products are so concentrated that you don't need to use a lot of them. So they really become very cost effective. So, how do you use oils? First of all, you don't need to be an aromatherapist to use them. I'm not an aromatherapist. I really didn't know much. I've done a lot of research and reading and Facebook groups and YouTube videos and a whole bunch of things to start educating myself. So there's a lot of tools out there. But basically, there are three main ways to get oils into your system. The English apply it topically, which they rub it on their skin. The French ingest and cook with it. And the Germans diffuse and inhale it. So all three ways are viable and they all have their benefits. So tests have shown that oils reach the heart, liver, and thyroid within 3 seconds when you inhale them. 3 seconds. They are found in the bloodstream within 26 seconds when applied topically. So it's really cool because they are so super small. They can get into the nooks and crannies and get past, depending on how you're taking it in. If you're inhaling it, it can go right into your blood cell and get inside the cell as well to have its effect. So it takes about 3 to 6 hours in a normal, healthy body to expel the essential oils once you use them. So you might need to reapply them or re-inhale throughout the day. So oils are made in a couple of different ways. It takes a great deal of work to make a tiny amount of essential oil. Try to picture 60,000 rose blossoms. That's how much is needed to provide 1 ounce of rose oil. Super, super concentrated. Lavender, however, is abundant. So 200 pounds will provide 7 pounds of oil. So it really just depends on how much oil is in the plant and what it needs to be distilled. Jasmine flowers are really, really picky. They have to be picked by hand before the sun becomes hot on the very first day that they open. So it is one of the most expensive oils in the world. It takes 8 million hand-picked blossoms to produce 2.2 pounds of oil. And that's just pretty incredible. But it's such an incredibly powerful oil that when you smell jasmine and you put a little bit on you, it doesn't take much. You can that smell is so concentrated that you don't need that much. A sandalwood tree must be 30 years old and 30 feet high before it can be cut down for distillation. So each plant has its own set of requirements for how it needs to be processed. So I'm going to go a little bit back in history and time, talking about how essential oils were used. And they were used in biblical times, and there were over 1,100 direct and indirect mentions of essential oils in scripture. I'm going to take their word for it. But we all know the story of Jesus. He was given gold, frankincense, and myrrh. I think no matter what, what religion, or even if you don't study religion, pretty much everybody knows the story of Jesus, I think. Incidentally, gold in this case, they were referring to balsam fir, not the actual gold, balsam fir. So some of the oldest cultures on the earth have used essential oils, including the Babylonians. They used cedarwood, myrrh, and cypress. The Egyptians used essential oils for beauty and embalming, and they have the oldest recorded deodorant recipe made with essential oils. Pakistan and Rome used essential oils in communal bathhouses. Essential oils were used by medieval Europeans, and that's certainly where we got our thieves' oil from in Young Living. So at some point I'll talk a little bit more about that. But again, in this day, when you look at this video now or in the near future, you're going to know what's going on. We're in what's being called a coronavirus pandemic right now. People are being quarantined. Kids are home from school. People are home from work. And so a lot of people are using hand sanitizer and very toxic chemicals to sanitize their homes and their bodies. But what they're really doing is disrupting their immune system. So using these tools like essential oils to help support our immune system while we are using these things to possibly disinfect, such as the hand sanitizer, which has 70% alcohol in it, and we can actually make the claim that says that it's meeting those standards of being antibacterial, which, by the way, the coronavirus is a virus, so that's a whole another topic for another day. But we've had history with these oils. They're not something new, but they were rediscovered after World War II. And the science on their use has grown every single year. And Young Living is actually responsible for quite a bit of that research and science with the research and development department. So do essential oils work, right? If you asked me before Young Living, I'd be like, I guess, maybe, I don't know. But now I can, with absolute honesty, say yes. But you have to be using absolutely pure therapeutic oils and not the ones that are just labeled pure. So like I said, before I knew there was any difference, I bought my essential oils from wherever, wholesale distributors, sometimes at Whole Foods or farmers markets. I would just try it out and kind of grab an oil, right? I didn't realize that in the United States, there's no official rating system for essential oils, and there's really no labeling laws. It'd be great if there were, because then you'd know what you were buying, right? So if you walk into a grocery store and you look at a box of cereal, you'll see nutrition facts on the sides. You know exactly what you're getting. And now there's lots of things like GMO free and vegan and gluten free. So you're pretty sure, like, you know what you're eating for the most part. There's some things that they're still a little tricky on. Well, there are no nutrition facts on the side of oils. That means you have to trust the source. You have to know the company where you're purchasing from. You cannot just take at face value what's on the label. So I want to go through a couple of things that you can do to have an idea of what you're getting. Number one, sniff the oil. All right. Does it smell like the plant? Does it smell sweet or perfumey? Does it give you a headache or make your sinuses stuff up? That's a sign, if you answer yes to perfumey or headachy or sinusy, that is probably a sign that there's some synthetic stuff going on there. And if it smells sweet, it probably means that they're distilling it more than once to take out all those earthy notes, which are actually healing and therapeutic. So you're not going to have a healing oil at that point. It's just going to be a sweet smelling oil. Look on the label. Now, I just said labels are misleading, but you can um, you can kind of look and see, what are they saying? Are they saying it's organic or pure? Well, it means nothing. It can say pure and still contain 0% essential oil, and it's completely legal. There's no set organic guidelines for essential oils, so you can't assume that there are no chemicals used in the growing or processing of the oil because they haven't set those guidelines. So, how do you know? But here's the thing: do you see statements like flammable or do not ingest? Especially if this is an oil that is basically known as generally regarded as safe or grass. If it's like a lemon oil or orange oil and you're seeing flammable, do not ingest, warning, there's something else in there. It's synthetic or there's chemicals or there's something in there that is not pure oil. So, number three, you can try to find out the source of the oil. You can call the company, find out. Here's the questions you can ask: do you grow your own plants? Unfortunately, the majority of the essential oils on the market come from brokers that are resold by other companies, and they just put their names on it. So they don't even know where that comes from. A few might have some farms that they get oils from, so they have a relationship, but they're not in control of the process. Basically, they're not in control of the farming. They don't know what they're necessarily using as their practice or how they're distilling it. They just say, "Hey, we want your plants for this oil." The previously farmed land, all of it can affect the quality of the oil. So this is one reason, and probably the best we'll get into later. So with one phone call to Young Living, you can find out where your oil came from, when it was produced, and you can even visit the farm it came from. So they have an open policy where you can actually go to their farms and see how they're growing things, how their labs on the farms where they're testing. Um, if there's a Usually they have a distilling on the farm, and you can see it there. So you can see all of this stuff for your own with your own eyes, for your own information. There's no mystery behind it. They grow the plants the best they can. They take them and distill them, and they get them in your hands. That's it. There's nothing added. There's nothing done to the oils. So let me just talk a little bit about the lab testing. You're going to want companies that are doing in-house testing so they know when to pick the plants, when to harvest them, when to distill them, how much to distill them, etc. And you're going to want them to have independent lab tests done where they give the oil to somebody else and that person's doing the testing. So you don't want that involvement with that. You don't want anybody doing the testing that they're involved with the company, because then that's not independent, is it? Do they have research and development? It needs to be innovative in so many ways to bring us the best oils. And I've actually seen photos of research they've done. Gary Young, who's the founder, was looking at root structures of plants and subjecting them to different frequencies to see what happened to the root growth and then the plant growth. It's pretty cool, right? Another really cool thing is I've heard stories of him doing testing with Melissa, and this is a plant that's very particular. And he would do a test where he would berate Melissa before distilling, like, "You had to get me up early. I could be sleeping. How dare you?" And he would kind of berate Melissa, then do the distillation, and there was a low yield of good quality oil. Then he sweet talked Melissa. "You're beautiful. I love how you smell. You're gorgeous." And then did the same thing and got way more oil out of the plant with the sweet talk. Go figure, right? He's experimented with so many things, and he was so innovative with farm equipment. I could go on and on, but let's move on. cost. This is a big one. You really do get what you pay for. All right. I've seen bottles of frankincense for $7 at the grocery store. Knowing what I know now about frankincense, there is no way it's pure frankincense, even if it says pure frankincense in the bottle. There's absolutely no way. It costs more than that just to distill it. So it's a red flag that it's been altered in some way. Now, Young Living has a sacred frankincense farm in Oman. Anybody want to go there with me? I can't wait. Um, I can't wait to go to all the farms. Um, so you are getting one species of frankincense. So they've got two frankincenses, one sacred, one regular. So you're getting one species instead of most companies are pulling from different species of frankincense to go into one bottle because they don't have enough. Well, we have our own farms. So the process of distilling frankincense is very time consuming because you have to tap it like a maple tree to get the resin, and then that has to harden, and then you have to distill it. So the only way you can sell it cheap is to adulterate it. You cannot make a profit at selling it at a low cost. So when you see two bottles of frankincense on the shelf when you go into the store, and one's $7 and the other is, let's just say Young Living was on the shelf, it's much more. And nobody's there to tell you the difference. And one says pure organic and the other is just telling you it's got the oil in there. How do you know what to do? And this is why I'm here, to kind of explain that the quality really does matter. All right. So the other aspect of this is how the oil is being grown in the plant form, right? It costs $12,000 to hand weed lavender on the Young Living farms, right? Hand weeding. That's what they do. That and use sheep that don't eat the lavender, but eat the weeds. But that's another story. So versus $60 to spray chemicals. What do you want to use? I know what I want to use. We pay extra in the store for organic produce. So when you look at what it takes to go into an oil and how much is concentrated. So for the instance with the rose oil, and it takes 60,000 pounds, right, to go into that rose oil. That if you're using any chemicals like pesticides, that's going to get concentrated into that oil, and then you're going to put that on and in your body. Again, that's why Young Living doesn't spray. That's why you buy organic produce. So you definitely want products that are going to be chemical free. It doesn't make any sense, right? To try and get away from chemicals by using essential oils, only to use an oil laden with chemicals. So the good news is because Young Living's oils are pure and undiluted, a little goes a long way. And so oftentimes it's really more cost effective. And if you're using an oil for a particular issue anyways to support your body, you want to spend your money on something that's going to be effective and not toxic, right? So I'm going to go into a little bit of seed to seal. I don't know if there's anybody out there. If there's any questions, please just write them down in the comments in the live chat and I will see it. All right. I want to talk about seed to seal because it really is the one thing that sets Young Living apart from all the other oil companies. So let me break down what that really means. I talked a little bit about some of these things, but at Young Living, they don't strip constituents to make their oil smell better. Most companies will make the oil smell sweeter by further distilling it and to take out the earthy components. They have a term for that too, but let's just say that's what they're doing. This makes the oil weak and it strips the oil of the therapeutic components. So, number one, there's that. We don't mix species of the same oil for a single essential oil. When you buy peppermint, it's one species. When you buy frankincense, it's one species. So you know exactly what you're getting. Young Living doesn't spray weed killers or pesticides or herbicides or use genetically modified seeds. As I said, they hand weed, they don't spray chemicals. They use innovative techniques. like finding that breed of sheep to eat the weeds and not the lavender in a farm in France. I want to go to that one too. They don't distill using chemical solvents like hexane. They don't use any soil tainted with mercury, arsenic, glyphosate, or any poison because their fields are completely untouched by chemicals, at least by 50 years, if ever. Young Living harvests at the exact time of day that their research team has shown it's the ideal time for that specific plant. So they're constantly testing when they know it's around harvest time, around the clock. They know when that peak is because of their extensive library on oils. They have the oldest and largest globally compiled library from nearly 30 years of research on farms on 6 continents. So sometimes with the research, we're growing things that might not be native, but they have found is the best place to grow it, like Helichrysum in Croatia, right? So, as I said, Young Living has farms all over the world. You can visit them for yourself, any of the farms you like, because Young Living is transparent. I talked about the testing. They're testing during, before distilling, during distilling, after distilling, before bottling, after bottling, and they do 24 tests per batch to make sure that the oils meet their standards, and then do third-party testing with 2 accredited, respected, independent labs. So there are global leaders. The global leader in essential oils is Young Living, and people are returning to keep using the oils because they find they work. And this is creating a nearly $2 billion industry in sales annually at this point, which is amazing. They work. So people keep coming back. And that's the biggest thing is that when you look at a company, you want to see, well, what's a repeat business? These are the happy customers, right? They don't just try it and go away. There's also a lot of support. So like people who are coming to me and asking for help and I help them become a member, they have me for support and education. So I can teach them and show them how to use their oils and the other products. So you're not just left hanging in the wind with this kit and you're like, well, what do I do? Right? So hopefully you can understand now why you can't just buy oils at any random place. And for certainly guys, if there's one thing you do, please do not buy them online. Because even if you see the label on there, it might say Young Living. You don't know where that's coming from. Anybody can slap a label on anything. All right. So here we go. I am going to be, if you want, so the best way to get started with essential oils is with a Young Living Premium starter kit. There's actually 4 different kits, one of them being the Premium Starter Kit with the oils, one of them being a Ningxia Starter Kit with Ningxia Red, another one with the Thieves cleaning and body care products, and another one with CBD oil. But if you're interested in learning more, I'm going to be doing a bonus video live right now. Well, in a few minutes when I get off of this on the Premium Starter Kit right here on this channel. So if you stay tuned and hang on with me for a second because I have to set it up, give me maybe like 10 minutes, then you can come back and look at that particular video. Join me live if you want, or just hop on later. But I hope this has given you some insight into the wild world of essential oils. I know I'm having fun. I have fun learning. I have fun playing with my oils. I have fun with the community it generates. I love mixing them and matching them and just seeing what something will smell like and do. And I absolutely love that I have tools I can use with extreme confidence for me, my family, my patients, my friends, and I don't have to worry that I'm getting anything toxic in the meantime. So if you are interested in talking to me more, you can certainly reach out to me. I will put I guess I will put my website in the description box, and you can always get in touch with me through that. And next week, I'm going to be doing a class for sure on all things thieves. If I decide to do it sooner because of the situation that's going on right now, you might want to subscribe so you know when I do a video. And certainly like this if you like the information I gave to you tonight. Share with your friends. And I appreciate you guys so much. And I hope I get to talk to you personally soon. Thanks so much and have a great week.